Well, folks, we've got a new one from Civivi. I have to give Civivi credit for experimentation. In the past year, they've come out with the Orthrus, which was a straight blade and kind of half karambit sort of knife that was, I'm going to put these into the classification called transformers, and you'll find out why in a moment. Knives that change shape, change direction, change purpose. And without yakking too much longer, let's see what's in this rather inexpensive leather pouch. I think the pouch, the sheath was sort of added as an afterthought. You know, anytime you see the belt loop sort of sewn on and no clip and whatnot, you have to wonder how much effort was really made. And that's the only cranking I'm going to do on this. But I think a nice little Kydex sheath would have been great, but would have brought the price over $100. And I think these are coming in more like 80, 90. I'll give you the link. This one came from White Mountain Knives. It is in 14C28N. And for all the world, looks like, yes, a push dagger. Push dagger is kind of a defensive weapon, pretty much. They say it originated with the old riverboat gamblers and something you could have under your vest and grab quickly and punch the guy and do him in. You know, if you can punch, you can pierce and you can cut. Pretty handy, actually, if you're looking for purely a self-defense knife. But let's suppose you're not looking for just a self-defense knife and you want to make some EDC use out of this. What's going to happen? That's going to happen. And I wish I could have dramatically done it all in one flick. I've been practicing, but there is your EDC fixed blade. And it is a movable, shiftable fixed blade that transforms into that. How about that? So we got a push dagger. There is no lock on it. It is all done by virtue of this hinged mechanism. Double hinges, right? I think here and here. No, here, and I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I think at least 2 hinges, and there you go. Now, since it doesn't have a lock, you might ask, well, what's to keep the knife from just folding when you use it? Well, it's actually the pressure of your thumb on the back of it right here that reasonably holds it in place. Now, granted, if you wanted to use it this way and thrust and defensive sort of stuff, you might run into it wanting to close a little bit, but notice that these 2 fingers and the index finger really do keep it from closing. It has nowhere to go, okay? It'll go that far and then that's it. But if you're cutting with it, then the pressure is going against the edge and keeping it in the locked position. And when you go to this mode, I like it between this particular one, between the middle finger and the ring finger, because it's kind of in a line with the axis of my forearm bone. This way ain't going nowhere. I mean, it's lock solid. I watched a video that Jared Neve did, and he did a great job of demonstrating how strong this is in the push dagger position. He was punching plywood with it and putting dings and holes and gouges in the plywood. And by the way, the point held up. It's 14C28N, but apparently they hardened it right. Well, I don't know how we'll do the measurements on this, but why don't we start with the standard position. And by the way the sheath is, no, you cannot put it in the sheath in the fixed blade standard position. It will not fit in there because you don't have enough room here to get over the handle material, which is, by the way, aluminum. It will go in that way, and you can see that it matches up right there with the cutout. I think someone's going to come up with a better sheath for it, or maybe they'll come up with a locking mechanism. I really don't know. I know when the EXO first came out that they gave it a Kydex sheath, the Riot EXO. And when the XOK came out, they gave it a pocket clip and a lock. So pocket clip and a lock might work for this guy. All right, let's go back to this position. Position A, position B. 6 1/4 inches overall with a blade of 2.35, let's say, cutting edge of about 2.3. Thicknesses, handle thickness in inches, 0.49, so still under 1/2 inch. Blade thickness, 0.10. Probably going to be 2.8 millimeters. And the weight, not terribly heavy. .98. Well, we're going to call that 3 ounces. So, got a 3-ounce knife with a little over 2.5 inch cutting edge, or 2 1/4 inch, 2.5 inch blade. So it looks pretty small in this position, but you do have a full size 4-finger handle. Now, there have been other interesting inventions out there in terms of push daggers. We have the Strellet, designed by Ostap Hell, which is a folding push dagger. Only opens in this position, and it is a claw. I find that one of the most useful concealed defensive knives that there is. Then we have the custom Broadhead by Dirk Pinkerton, S35VN. That's going to run you about $100.50, and that's really not bad for a custom knife. If you wanted to go small and fixed blade, there is the Nightshade by TKL Knives. That's a custom. And if you wanted to go strictly push dagger, we have the Guilty, Brother of Innocent by Bastinelli Knives. So there's a few variants, and this guy can change, so let's put that in that position. And we've got an entirely different scene here, don't we? But all small defensive-oriented knives, with this one being 50-50 and having that EDC function, okay? That EDC capability. Not so much EDC capability here other than opening boxes, but I love it. It's so light and small. With the exception of the fact that you need a sheath, all of these can be 5th pocket knives. Even this fixed blade from TKL. All right, small with a ring, plenty of handle with a short blade, and it is a 2 sharpened edges here. There's a big brother version of it called the Guardian with 3 sharpened edges. And I put this out because it is kind of a push dagger in its own right, but lots of different ways to hold this as well. Again, this is the Broadhead by Dirk Pinkerton Customs. And a very light knife in its own right here as well is the Bastinelli Guilty. Very fancily made M390 on that one. So getting back to this very, very interesting combo knife. And to wrap it up, you're going to need to decide if this is just kind of another trick knife, or whether it's something useful, or you may be looking for another trick knife transformer. It's cool. It's fidgety. It's kind of like, the whole XOK thing with the karambit that you open and close with one hand by flicking it in different directions. I have one of those, did a review on it. This is a little more simple. You know, it's one hinged action, but it changes identity very quickly. And you could have a very useful, functional EDC fixed blade here, even though it doesn't have a clip or any way to carry it in the pocket. Aside from what they're giving you here, which I really feel is substandard. And I've seen that happen with some Civivi knives in the past too. They want to get the knife out real quick. They realize that it's going to need a sheath. And the sheath is like second or third or fourth hand, you know. So if there's any downside to it quality-wise, I think that would be it. It is a quality knife. It is something that's usable if you find that you have a need for both an EDC fixed blade as well as a push dagger. This is the one for you. But I think maybe the jury's still out, and maybe again, it's one of those transformer trick knives that's cool to have and you probably will never carry. But the decision is yours. Hey, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. This old sword's with you, and I'll be back with you again soon. Be well, and thanks for watching.